The trade settlements that are required for the world at large is still the US dollar. I mean, all the debt that's out there is primarily in US dollars. Of course, there's debt in other currencies, but the lion's share is the US dollar. And a lot of foreign currencies borrow dollars to do whatever and improve their infrastructure or pocket it or whatever has been done with a lot of this foreign aid. And so that settlement, I don't think could really be transferred over to like the BRICS currency with some huge, increase in the price of gold, for example.
The BRICS nations are considering creating a new currency backed by gold. This could offer an alternative to the US dollar, which is currently the dominant currency used for international transactions. However, experts have doubts about the idea because the economies of the BRICS countries are very different. David Mogan, the founder of the Mogan Report, highlighted that the dominant currency used for international trade settlements around the world is still the US dollar. It would be challenging to switch this settlement system to a different currency like the BRICS currency without a significant impact. Europe's move to monetary integration with a common currency, the euro, is a very special and one-of-a-kind process. Mogan believes that the euro, which is used in several European countries, has faced challenges because of varying economic behaviors in different member countries, saying that transitioning to a new global currency like the BRICS currency would not be easy due to the differences. The Russian embassy in Kenya stated that the BRICS countries are considering introducing a new trading currency that will be supported by gold. Morgan stated that if such a gold-backed or gold-associated currency were to be introduced, it could cause disruptions to the global financial system. Recent developments challenge the belief that the US dollar's dominance is stable because it is seen as the best among various other currencies like the euro, yen, and yuan. However, a currency issued by BRICS countries would be different. It would unite emerging economies that, together, have a bigger GDP than the United States and even the combined economies of the G7 countries. Morgan believes that it is unlikely that the BRICS currency will entirely replace the US dollar, but it is a disruptive force that makes us question why the US dollar is the dominant currency and if there are viable alternatives. Before diving into David Morgan's interview, don't forget to show your support by giving this video a big thumbs up and subscribing to our channel.
I don't think it's going to be an easy transition because you've got different countries with different cultures, different work ethics, different situations similar to the euro. I mean, the euro, if you look at it and you look at, as an example, how industrious the Germans are, generally speaking, and the more of a kickback attitude that there is in Greece, for example, they don't mesh well as far as putting them together. It's like oil and water. And the euro really has not been that big of a success when you look at it. I mean, basically, Germany's had to kind of back it pretty much the whole way through. So coming back to this BRICS purportedly gold, I don't know if it's gold backed or it's gold associated. Going way back into my study of this topic for decades. Early on, Michael Rupert, the late great Michael Rupert, you can look him up if you don't know who he is. He's been deceased for many years now, but he was the first one to put into print, because I get most of these newsletters and study them, about the golden yuan or gold yuan from China. So China associating their currency with gold. So he's the first to write about it. I picked up on the topic and said, if this were to occur, it would certainly be disruptive to the global financial system, but I doubt it will occur. So now we're faced with what is in front of us, the BRICS. And it depends. First of all, it's got to gain momentum, and it probably will first initially just because it's available. And one thing the markets are very efficient at is using an arbitrage to their advantage, and then it quickly disappears. So you might see a flood of dollars moving into the BRICS currency because I'm getting paid more for my gold, and that's what I want, and presto changeo. But the market will adjust. So I really don't see how it's going to play out. It may play out very well. Maybe it will replace the dollar. I highly doubt that. Certainly it's a disruptor. And I think from my perspective, the most important part about the disruption is thinking, getting us all to think about, why is the dollar the supreme currency? what are the alternatives to it? Does another nation state or group of nation states have the ability to supersede it? And those type of things. And again, it's a work in progress. And the last comment, a little off topic, but at the end of great inflations, you always see alternatives. That's why you see so much in the crypto space. It's an alternative to the current system. Gold and silver obviously are outside the current system. This BRICS will be outside the current system. So the market actually will compensate for, let's say, things that are needed. If you need a stable currency, or you need an alternative currency, or you need an alternative method of payment. And the worst thing about this whole topic, in my opinion, is that the U.S. weaponized the dollar. I mean, you might have a justifiable case against another country. I don't think there is one currently, but regardless. But even if there was a justifiable reason to go to war, you do not mess with the overall financial system. That's sacrosanct. Everyone should be able to pay. So when Russia was cut off, they couldn't pay their bills in US dollars to countries that needed to be paid their interest payment or what have you. And that was not the fault of the Russians. That was the fault of the United States cutting them off. And this is basically backfired. So, what goes around comes around. I mean, maybe this BRICS idea going full bore and producing a new currency would never have occurred.
There has been a continuous reduction of metal stored in COMEX vaults, and silver inventories have reached their lowest levels ever. There are now 28 paper claims for every physical ounce of silver available. Over the past 3 years, the quantity of registered silver has decreased by a massive 81%, amounting to a reduction of 115 million ounces. This indicates a concerning trend of dwindling physical silver available for trading and delivery on the COMEX exchange. Mogan indicates that the amount of silver registered on the COMEX has decreased significantly from 150 million ounces to around 30 million ounces. However, it has been replenished to some extent. Last year, global demand for silver increased by 18% and reached a record high of 1.24 billion ounces. This surge in demand led to a significant supply deficit, with the market being undersupplied by 237.7 million ounces in 2022. This deficit is one of the largest ever recorded. Despite this, silver prices have mostly decreased since 2020 because rising interest rates discouraged investments in precious metals, which don't offer interest payments. However, demand for silver has been strong from various major users, including jewelry, industries that use silver in electronics and solar panels, and buyers of silver bars and coins. The demand for silver is continuing to grow as the world moves towards cleaner energy sources, leading to an expanding use of silver in various industries. Morgan stated that imagine what would happen if 2 years' worth of total silver supply, 1 billion ounces per year, suddenly enters the market due to increased investment demand. The price of silver could potentially soar under such circumstances. Let's watch David Morgan's interview with Liberty and Finance.
The total registered, which is what the dealers have to play with on the COMEX, is somewhere around 30 million ounces. I don't know the exact number. It was at like 150 million ounces when the silver squeeze started. And so those several months, the registered category just come down, 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 and down. And it hasn't been replenished very much. Got down to, I think, 27, and then 6 million ounces came in and moved it up to over 30, 33 or something. Again, I'm sure it's around that number now. The point is that COMEX is designed as a derivatives market, and that's really what it's designed for. I won't say only, although the CME would like it to be only derivatives, but they do have to back up their game with real stuff. And the real stuff is, of course, the real metal. And there is enough metal to meet the demand that the exchange allows every month or every delivery month. And you can take delivery on non-delivery months. So what I'm saying is that even though we're very tight, we still have enough supply currently to meet the demand. How much demand is there? And the demand has been very strong in retail until the summer. It's fallen off. A lot of the premiums have fallen back. There's not as much activity through most of the dealers in the country. Miles Franklin may be different, but many of the wholesalers I talk to, they are stacking. They're getting more inventory. They've got to mark it down. They don't want to have the carrying costs that you have when you finance this stuff. So they're kind of in a squeeze. On the industrial side, it just keeps looking brighter and brighter because the solar situation has been pushed harder and harder and faster throughout the global economy. And 1% of 5 trillion is 50 billion. So 50 billion is 2 years of total silver production and recycling. So the silver market right now is a 1 billion ounce per year market. 850 million mined and about 150 million ounces recycled, round number 1 billion. And it's probably not going to get much above that based on how these mines are depleting, how the grade is falling off, how energy costs are still going up. I know they're flat now, but they'll continue to go up longer term. And also the resource wars that we're already starting to see, where if this lithium is in my country, it's my lithium, that kind of thing. You're going to see more and more of that. So if we take that premise of the 5 trillion, 1% being 50 billion, if you think in this next go around with the financial crisis that we are in, but will accelerate, that 1% of that money doesn't go to the silver market, then maybe I'm sending you on a fool's errand. I think it's almost guaranteed that at least that much money will come to the silver market. And think about what happens when 2 years worth of total silver supply comes into the market. Where do you think the price of silver will go then?
The BRICS represents a shift in global power from traditional Western powers to emerging economies. These countries are leveraging their collective strength to have a greater influence on the world stage. With the new summit coming in August, Vladimir Putin won't be attending summit in Johannesburg next month because South Africa, the host country, asked him not to come. What do you think are the potential benefits of a new global currency backed by gold? That's all from us. If you like this video, please like, share and subscribe our channel and click the bell icon to be notified of future videos.